Yeah. I feel like I'm the only one. Feel like I'm the only one. Yeah. Y'all gonna have to do better. I can't believe what I'm seeing. All this bullshit going on. The industry is deceiving. All the masses pitching rappers.
The bracelet that went missing then reappeared. Police, she says, have stopped listening to her. And like Verbeth, she too believes she's been sexually assaulted, although she never filed a police report.
I've gone to doctors many times, and I've been to the Rape Crisis Center for counseling, yes.
Many of these so-called victims of what Hall describes as gang stalking meet up on the internet, finding comfort and information from others who say they too suffer from electronic stalking, mind control, and even rape. Loosely defined, gang stalking is where organized groups target and harass unwilling victims to the point of paranoia, leaving the victims to deal with skeptical family members and skeptical law enforcement.
This isn't stalking done by a former spouse or former boyfriend or someone that you know that's disgruntled at you, but stalking that's being done by total strangers in an organized fashion.
And some internet links take you here to the book mentioned earlier, written by Dr. John Hall.
The book is fact. It's not a book of fiction. What I've wrote about is an isolated story here in San Antonio.
Dr. Hall says it is a story about himself and the harassment and rapes his ex-girlfriends allegedly suffered beginning in 1996. Dr. Hall believes the people behind it are well-organized operatives using government satellite technology to terrorize him and other victims.
All voicing the same complaints: organized stalking, weird electronic disturbances going on in their homes. Most of the women are complaining of drugging and sexual assault. So it's a big national problem.
Verbeth bought the book, and what she read, she says, caused her stomach to turn, because within the chapters in the story, she found similarities to her own situation.
I pulled out the book and I started reading, and I'm like, oh my God, it's exactly what's happening.
It's like turning the pages of your own story.
Everything.
Remember the doors, windows, even the clothes dryer taken apart? Page 35, third paragraph, talks about reassembling appliances. The drugged food and rape? Page 52 talks of concealing Rohypnol, the date rape drug, in drinks and food. The account in Hall's book is chilling, and the I-Team uncovered some truth to his story.
Have you ever come home or woken up in the middle of the night convinced that someone else had been there? Maybe a trinket slightly out of place, a frame tilted, or a pillow tussled? Well, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they aren't out to get you. In fact, hundreds of times every year, teams from the FBI sneak into houses and office buildings to plant bugs completely undetected. They're called Tactical Operations Teams, or TACT Ops. And their methodology is extensively outlined in the book The Secrets of the FBI, written by Ronald Kessler. Well, a while back, I happened to hear Kessler on NPR describing the lengths the FBI will go to break in and gather information on the DL. The broadcast was so disturbing and eerie to me that I just had to share it with you guys. So, these FBI TACT Op teams consist of 10 people at a time who spent their entire careers fine-tuning a skill of being government-sponsored cat burglars and eavesdroppers. Now, 10 people seems like a lot to bug a house, but according to Kessler, the planning is so intense that it takes 10 weeks to prepare each break-in. Take a listen.
They each have a specialty. One will just watch to see if anybody's coming once they're in. One will take photographs of what the premises is like when they go in. If they have to move a chair, let's say, they put a tape where the chair was and then they move it back. If they have to disturb, let's say, something on a desk and there's some dust on the desk, well, they bring their own dust to replace the dust that had been moved. And they bring along a vacuum cleaner, very small, very powerful, to sweep up any sawdust. Let's say if they have to put a bug in a wall and do some drilling. They have a special algorithm to match the paint on the wall in case they have to cut through the wall.
Wow, paint algorithms and fake dust. These people have really thought of everything. And guess what they do if the person at home has pets? Well, they tranquilize them, of course. Yep. They actually consult with veterinarians with photos of the pet to get a precise assessment of the appropriate dosage. But don't worry, they also have a wake-up drug to make sure the pet's alert and normal acting when the owner comes back, so there's no suspicion. Okay, so inside the house seems to be planned to a T. But how does a team this big enter a home undetected from neighbors and onlookers? Well, Kessler explains that these TACT-OP teams actually take a high-resolution photo of the house through their premeditated surveillance operation and blow up a replica as big as the house to display as a giant phony picture front to the real house. Then they go behind the giant tarp and pick the locks from there. They also do it at night most of the time, so it's even harder to detect. Also, they're known to create fake bushes to hide behind. I know, guys, it sounds absurd, but I'm not making this up. So, if all the grounds are covered at the house, then there's still the possibility of people coming back to the house early or unexpectedly. So.
And then when it comes to watching the people who might come back, they're called key holders, people who might have keys to the premises. They will watch them on the night of the break-in. If any of them start to come back, they will divert them. They'll either have a police officer stop them, or they will stage a phony traffic accident, or they'll open a fire hydrant in the area so they can't come back. Anything to prevent them from coming back.